Guys, you know what's up. We're taking the PNPT. That right there is getting ready. Those right there are the ingredients to any successful cybersecurity exam, but it's gonna take more than that. Tune in for how I failed my PNPT and why you should too. Let's do this. I started off the engagement, as is mentioned on the TCM website, with OSINT. I spent the morning till about 1 p.m. early afternoon, gathering information from public sources and taking notes on everything I found relevant to the engagement. I thought I was making good progress. I had a ton of notes from my recon, and I felt like I'd sharpened my sword enough to get the job done handily. So, I started my attacks. I gained traction on some of them, but for some reason, I just couldn't get past step 1. I kept uncovering attack surface, started thinking outside the box, and I tried elaborate exploit chains, but I wasn't making any meaningful progress. I progressively got more and more frustrated and started to feel completely helpless. And the worst part? You have 5 full days to pass the exam, which is a very long time. So I was stuck in this limbo for 4 days, staring at a single component of the test environment, unable to make any progress, and unable to get any sort of foothold. At the end of the 4th day, I went to bed completely dejected, convinced that I was going to fail this test, and that I was never prepared enough, and even that I was never cut out to be a penetration tester to begin with. But something echoed in my mind as I went to bed that night that I remembered hearing 100 times over and never really fully appreciating the meaning. Treat this as a real penetration test, not a CTF. I woke up the next morning and got to work on the test with a completely new perspective. Lo and behold, with a new approach, I finally gained a foothold on the internal network. But I was on very limited time now with very little progress, so I had to pour it on, and fast. Fuck. So, if you're watching this video, you probably either already are a penetration tester or you're trying to be, like me. The unfortunate reality of penetration testing, and I think a lot of cybersecurity, is that it's gate kept by certifications, right? Especially penetration testing. And for us pen testers, let's face it, there's only one certification that matters for getting your foot in the door. And that is none other than the OSCP. Every company I've interviewed at for penetration testing lists it as either a requirement or a preferred qualification. If you land a phone screening, the HR person
Gen Z Boston and Mini
is obliged to ask if you have the OSCP, or if you don't, when are you planning to get it? Here's the problem with the OSCP. It's fucking hard.
What's your profanity? Right, I'm sorry.
Some would say artificially hard. The point is, a lot of people have frustrations about the exam and the hosting company, OffSec. And with how prohibitively expensive it is not a fun exam to fail. I failed that one too, much longer ago. No, I don't want to talk about it. I was helplessly thrashing through the course material, struggling to grasp the concepts, and miserably failing the execution. For about a year, I struggled through all that, basically to just make no progress. And I ended up failing the exam, not really feeling like I'd learned anything. And the whole experience only cost me $2,500. Nowadays, if you want to take it, it'll cost you about $2,800.
The money, Skylar. Where is the rest? Skylar, where is the money?
I gave it to
noob-sec.
What? You did what?
I basically felt like a complete idiot at that point, so I took a break for a very long time. But then, on the new year of 2024, I went on a mission. I was out of my element when I took it the first time, and I faced the fact that I just might not be ready for it, okay? I wasn't stupid, I just didn't have the experience, didn't have the prior knowledge to make the experience smooth, but I was gonna make myself ready. For my fellow weebs out there, I envisioned myself as Captain Levi from Attack on Titan, cutting down a chain of certifications, pivoting from one to the next, slowly learning and proving to myself I retained what I learned until I finally got to the crown jewel, the Beast Titan, the OSCP. And I did really well. Until I got to the PNPT. So you basically saw the whole story of how I failed. Basically, I fell into the trap that a lot of people fall into, and that is treating the exam as a capture the flag event and not a real penetration test. And that is a distinction that I think you either get or you don't. And that's not to say that you can't learn it. I'm not saying that if you don't know it now, you can't get a grasp on that distinction eventually. Okay? Well, in fact, maybe there's even some people that can learn it just by hearing somebody talk about it. But I think the most useful and memorable way to learn it is to go out, try, and fail a lot of times. Bang your head against the wall for 5 days. It will eventually click, and in a way that you're not going to forget. So, if you've done a ton of prep for the exam, if you have a deep understanding of the technical details, that mentality still might not click for you. And it might not click until you're knee-deep in the exam environment, potentially drowning, as I was. And that's okay. Failure is part and parcel of learning, and just part of becoming good at any skill. Especially in a field like ethical hacking, where there's a complex mix of technical skills, soft skills, and just plain killer instinct. And besides that, the great part about failing the exam for me was that I was exposed to like 100 new situations that I've never seen before in my practice, and it just leveled me up, technically, as well as, mentality-wise. And it definitely taught me a lot more than just taking notes on course material would. But even then, all of the tactics, techniques, and even the commands are in that course material. Everything you need to pass the exam is there, I promise you. Yeah, the PNPT is a pretty intense environment, mainly because it lasts for so long. It will reveal your strengths, your weaknesses, your emotions, your mentality. Like, it's kind of a emotional roller coaster. Or maybe I'm just a sissy. And at times even, it made me question whether or not this is even the right career path for me. Because I found myself very uncomfortable in those situations where I just had no insight into whether I was digging into the right problem or not, whether I was making any progress. And just overall, what a big thing that threw me off was the idea that I would need luck as a penetration tester or a red teamer. And that's a question that I'm still grappling with. Although there's something to be said about the fact that, luck plays a role with pretty much anything that we do, and there's no magical glass we can look into to see into the future in life. So really, we don't know if we're ever making progress in anything, whether that be a pen test, our relationships, our life goals. But that's a question for my therapist. And something my therapist told me is that it's just as important to know what you don't like as what you do like. And you know, I don't have the answer to that here, but I think I took a step in the right direction trying to find out. Either way, I cannot recommend the PNPT enough. The course material is fantastic. Heath is awesome. It's a veteran-owned company, if that means anything to you. Your Active Directory skills will level the fuck up.
What's your profanity? Right, I'm sorry.
And the exam is as intense and fun as it is informative, and as much as it will tell you about yourself and what you really want to do with your life. For what you get, it's also at a pretty reasonable price of $4.99. That is $499, not $4.99. And it sounds expensive, but it is a pretty good deal compared to other certifications that you could possibly take. And all in all, it's just a fantastic stepping stone to the OSCP. And I hate to call an exam as good as this just a stepping stone. But being realistically, guys, we gotta worry about what HR thinks. And the OSCP is, and probably will be for a very long time, the crown jewel of penetration testing. And the PNPT, one of the downsides of it is it just doesn't have the HR recognition that the OSCP has, but it still covers a fantastic breadth and depth of content, and I think it's excellent preparation. Just from what I took of the OSCP, it prepares you good. It prepares you well. And yeah, spoiler alert, this video was recorded far into the future, way after I failed, 3 weeks after I failed, and since then, I've retaken it and passed in less than a day. So if that goes to show you how much how much the exam teaches you, I don't know what does. Yeah, I was an infinitely better hacker after I took the exam than before I did. And it didn't take me long to catch back up, retake it, get those 4 letters on my resume, on my LinkedIn. And yeah, guys, just do it. Just do it. Why not? Why not? Support your boy Heath out there. Heath does a great job at TCM. Come on, let's give it a shot. That's for real all I want to say now. So yeah, good luck. Don't be afraid to fail. You gotta just try. Even if it's not the PNPT, even if it's something else, just fucking go for it. Failing is gonna teach you way more than if you didn't even try. So I hope this helped some of you make a decision. And I hope you take the PNPT, because we need better hackers out there. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Hey, if you watched all the way through, you got to hear you liked the video. Like, subscribe. I'm planning to do live streams, study with me's. So we're getting after it together. Probably some hacking tutorials, hack the box walkthroughs, all that kind of stuff. Everything cybersecurity. This is here. This is noob-sec. Watch me. I'm a noob. I'm hacking. We're hacking together, getting better together. If you're about that life, come on, hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.